All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're unpacking a really powerful idea, one that you can see literally everywhere once you start looking for it, from our own bodies to the way the entire global economy works. We're talking about a new model for how to thrive in this wild, complex world: autonomous interdependence.
It all really starts with this fundamental question, one we all kind of struggle with, right? In our own lives, on our teams, even in our countries. Do we have to choose between our freedom and our need to be connected? It always feels like a trade-off, like you can't have both.
And this is usually where we get stuck. We fall into one of two traps. On one side, you've got pure autonomy. That's the everyone for themselves world, which, just leads to chaos and fragmentation. But on the other side, you have pure interdependence, and that can quickly turn into top-down control, conformity, a rigid system where there's no room to breathe. Honestly, neither of these is a great place to be.
But what if that's a false choice? What if this whole either-or thing is the problem? What if there's a third path forward that actually weaves the best of both worlds together? That's what we're going to dig into.
And here it is. This is the core concept: autonomous interdependence. It's this beautiful principle where each part of a system, whether that's a person, a team, whatever, is free to sense what's going on and act on its own. But it's also connected enough that those individual actions actually help the whole system instead of hurting it. It's not a compromise, it's something totally new.
I just love this quote because it nails the idea so perfectly. Locally self-governing, but globally accountable to its edges. You get to run your own show, but you're also responsible for how what you do affects everyone you're connected to. It's freedom and responsibility.
So why is this such a game changer? Well, the secret ingredient here is variety. There's this idea from cybernetics called Ashby's Law, and it basically says that for any system to survive in a chaotic world, its internal variety has to match the external variety. In other words, top-down control is fragile because it kills off diversity. But autonomous interdependence, it protects it. It thrives on it.
Now, here's the really cool part. This isn't just some abstract theory. It's a pattern that you can see working at every single level of life. So we're going to take a little journey and see how this pattern scales, starting with the most personal level of all.
So, what does this look like for an individual? It means you have a strong sense of who you are, your own boundaries. But you also get that you're not an island, you depend on others. You take full responsibility for your impact. You have the right to privacy and the right to walk away from a bad situation. And, this is key, you act on what you see in front of you instead of waiting for permission.
Of course, nature figured this out billions of years ago. And maybe the best analogy for this entire concept is something going on inside your body right now: your immune system. It's just a stunning example of this principle in action. I mean, think about it. You've got billions of cells, all acting locally to fight off threats without a single command from your brain. They're not rogue agents, though. They have a shared set of rules, this simple signal of self or not self. It's this incredible balancing act. A little too much autonomy, and the system attacks itself. That's an autoimmune disease. Too little autonomy, and it can't fight off invaders. That balances everything.
Okay, so let's scale it up to a team. A truly great team isn't about getting a bunch of people who think and act the same. No, it's about aligning on a shared purpose and then letting different perspectives flourish. It pushes decisions down to the people on the front lines, and it creates safe edges where it's okay to disagree and give honest feedback without getting punished.
This comparison is just perfect for the next level up: the company. You've got two models. The plantation is all about top-down control. It looks super efficient for a little while, but it's incredibly fragile because it crushes all diversity. Then you have the forest model. It's a thriving, complex ecosystem. It's resilient, it's diverse, and it's built for the long haul because it runs on distributed autonomy. I mean, which one sounds like a place you'd want to work?
And finally, let's zoom all the way out to the scale of a country. A healthy nation actually runs on these same principles. Things like subsidiarity, the idea that decisions should be made at the most local level possible, and solidarity, where the stronger parts of the system help support the weaker parts. A healthy country actually protects its minorities because it sees that variety as a resource, and it gets that it's part of a bigger global system.
So we've seen this pattern pop up everywhere, from a single cell to an entire society. The big question is, what are the common threads? What are the actual rules that make this thing work? Well, it turns out you can boil it down to 6 universal rules.
All right, so this is the how-to guide. Here's the toolkit. Rule 1, local autonomy. Let the person or team closest to the problem make the call. They have the best information. 2,
Explicit edges. Make it crystal clear who's responsible for what. That's how autonomy stays productive. 3. Protected variety. You have to actively fight against conformity. Different ideas are what make you resilient. 4. Feedback loops. This one is huge. The consequences of a decision have to be felt by the person who made it. That's how we learn. 5. The right to renegotiate. Nothing is set in stone forever. Relationships and rules need to be able to evolve. And finally, number 6. No free riders. Autonomy comes with accountability. Everyone has to pull their weight.
So you might be listening to all this and thinking, okay, that's a nice theory, but why does this matter so much right here, right now? Well, the answer is all around us in the world we are all trying to figure out.
We are living in a time of just staggering complexity. We're hitting planetary limits, our supply chains are global and fragile, we're all hyper-connected online, and now we're throwing powerful AI into the mix. Our old models, either total top-down control or total chaos, they just can't handle this. They're too slow, too simple, too brittle.
We desperately need that third path we've been talking about. We need to start building systems that act less like rigid machines and more like living, breathing organisms. What we need is a network that can think, feel, and adapt together. And autonomous interdependence, well, that's the operating system for that future.
And that brings us right back to the beginning, to the most important question of all. This isn't just a concept to think about, it's a practice. It's something to build. So I want you to look around your own world, your family, your job, your community. Where is it time to stop making that false choice between freedom and connection, and start building autonomous interdependence instead?